So, a very good evening. We are right here with Miss Spain, Sofia del Prado. Hi, Miss Spain.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. So, we here, fans of Missology, we want to know more about you. As you know, it's a fan base with millions of people visiting every day. And we're here right now to ask you some questions to know more about you. So tell us a bit about you. You were born in which town exactly in Spain?
Okay, so first of all, I want to say that I'm really happy to be with you to reply to all your questions and the fans of Missology. I'm a great follower of the webpage. And answering to your question, my name is Sofia del Prado. I'm 22 years old. I was born in Villarroledo. There is a town in Albacete, Castilla-La Mancha. It's 2 hours away from Madrid. I'm graduated in international relations. Last May I graduated. And now I'm completely focused on my preparation on my road to the crown to Miss Universe.
Okay, perfect. And what are your hobbies and interests like?
I love doing sports. I love playing basketball. I love going to Retiro, for example, to run and spend time with friends. But you know, right now I don't have any time for hobbies. But when I can, I try to disconnect a little bit from all this craziness happening right now. And I like walking around the streets of Madrid as well.
Perfect. What's your date of birth? How old are you exactly?
Can you repeat?
Your date of birth? How old are you?
Oh, okay. I'm 22 years old. I was born February 11th, 1995.
Okay, so you're Aquarius,
Aquarius,
right?
yeah.
And Chinese zodiac sign, you're pig.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Perfect. So we heard you won Miss Hispano-America in 2000.
Reina Hispanoamericana,
Yeah.
Hispano-American Queen in 2015, yeah.
Oh, great. And you were representing Spain, right?
Yeah, I was representing Spain. Yeah, because I participated in Miss Universe Spain as well in 2015, and I was second runner-up, so they sent me to Bolivia to participate in this pageant.
That's scary. Oh, it seems there is dancing flamenco right here.
Maybe we can join them later.
That's perfect. And we are very impressed by your catwalk skills and stage presence, you know.
Yeah.
And who taught you these skills? Like,
yeah, well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. And you know, I've been like 4 years in the pageantry world, so I've been practicing a lot of stuff. But Jorge Matamoros, which is the official guy behind the scenes of Miss Universe Spain, is the one who taught me everything I know.
Okay, that's great. And it's very rare to see a Miss Spain who speaks English. Like, how come you're very fluent in English? How is this so?
Okay, so when I was 13 years old, I didn't have many friends, so I kind of found a refuge in listening to American groups, like for example Jonas Brothers, or you know, they were like the huge thing back in that moment. So I became a really huge fan, and I started to listen to their music, listening to their interviews, and I always wanted to learn English. I wanted to talk like them. I wanted to understand what they were saying. So I traveled as well to England. I was there 1 month with a host family, and then I traveled 2 months to the United States, to California. And I've always been interested, you know, in English, but when I went there and I lived there for 1 month and learned their way of life, pronunciation and stuff, that opened me everything I know.
The new motto of the Miss Universe is confidently beautiful, and we see you're very confident and you have a strength in character. Does this come naturally, or were you trained to be like this? Like, I've interviewed some girls in my country and they were like somehow, you know, a bit shy, but you are very, like, you were born to be in front of a camera.
Yeah, I love cameras. I love cameras and I love microphones. That's one of my sayings always. But you know, I think that that this confidence and security was given to me through time. You know, this maturity. I've been 4 years in pageants, like I told you before, and I think that that has made me grown up as a professional and in this world, and that has made me realize what a real beauty queen is. And I, like I told you, I'm a really good fan of these pageants. And I love.
So you want? Excuse me. So you wanted to be a Miss Universe or a Miss Spain since how old did you want it to be?
I've always wanted to be Miss Spain since I was a child, but trying actually, that was 4 years. 4 years trying.
When you saw other girls, like there were 52 of them, were you like a bit worried whether you were gonna make it or not, or how did you feel in the beginning when entering? Were you confident that you were gonna be somewhere in the top 5, or?
I always try to focus on myself, on my contest, my own contest. You know, I don't want to be looking at other girls. I want to look at myself and focus on myself, so I don't get distracted.
That's a great attitude.
And I think that when I walk in, you know, and you see the girls, it's like, okay, they're all beautiful, but somehow I knew that I was gonna make it at least the top 3. You know, you don't know the jury, the judges, what they're going to choose, if they like better a blonde or a brunette, or what they are looking for, if they're looking for a confidently beautiful woman or just a beauty. So,
in fact, as we're talking about this, it's become a motto and even like a mantra of all the Miss who have won. Beauty is internal. Do you think they mean what they say, or it's just a hypocrisy, or what are your opinion about this?
No, I totally agree with this sentence. I think the beauty is inside us. I mean, if you talk with a person who is externally beautiful, and then you talk to her and there's nothing more than just beauty outside, I don't like talking to those people because they don't give me nothing. So I prefer talking to someone who really is giving me something to think about. He's giving me something to, you know, knowledge. Knowledge is power, and someone who is smart and has clearly, and knows exactly what he or she wants. That gives me power as well to learn from that person. So I completely agree with this sentence. I think a beauty queen is an ambassador. I think a beauty queen has a lot of power. She can change lives. She can use her voice to raise problems to the stage, to the world.
But it seems like sometimes we have many fans got angry in Miss Universe because which they thought or they think was the prettiest didn't win. Like, do you think that it's fair if others who are like less, for example, taking example in 2010, Miss Ireland was seen as a goddess and everybody was hoping that she would win, and she came out like top 10. Do you think it's fair, or what's your opinion about this?
Yeah, the same thing happened in 2014 with Miss Spain, Desiree Cordero.
Oh,
yeah, she was like the favorite for everyone, and then she was top 10, and we were like, oh my god, she was going to win. What happened here? But you know what I've learned through these 4 years of pageants is that it's not the same being in the pageant and living day to day in the pageant than watching it from the outside. It's not the same following it through Instagram because everyone looks beautiful and everyone puts filters and stuff. It's not the same that being there 3 weeks perfectly in everything, makeup, hair, attitude, and you never have to be tired. You always have to be smiling. So it's really hard work, and not all the girls can make it. So I think it's more than just following through Instagram or Twitter. I think that you have to be there to know why someone wins.
Yes, it's a complete package. So tell me something. Spain is a country filled with very beautiful people, and I think most of the beautiful people around the world are in Spain. Can you explain to me why people in Spain generally are not interested in pageants? They are more in soccer, they're more in Eurovision, why are we not like Venezuela, for example? Like, why is this so?
I think the problem lays in media. if you get the pageant in television, people will get interested in the pageant. But since media or press don't give visibility to it, people are not interested. So I think it's a problem of what media shows, and it's marketing.
So that would be the next question, but I think you answered it already. Like, so we need to market more the pageant so that people interest more in this, right?
Yeah, I mean, in Spain there's a problem because Miss Spain kind of disappeared in 2011. There was some problems with money and the organization. So in 2013 or 2012, I don't know, this new organization came in and started, to make the product grow again.
Yeah.
But it's not as well seen as it was back in that day.
This is what was one of my next question. Like, Europe, Spain is one of the major first world country, and Miss Spain and Miss Universe is something very huge. Like, it's really sad that this was not broadcasted live. So what can be done? Like, how come sponsors do not interest to help your organization to flourish even more, to be more in the limelight, you see?
I think the organization keeps working every day to get the best sponsors and to get television on it. It's very hard because if you get no's everywhere, you will be getting no's. But as soon as you start getting a yes from someone, then everything will come. But I think Spain needs a Miss Universe. Once Spain has a Miss Universe, I think the product will rise again. Because we recently had a Miss World, Mireia, but I think it's not the same Miss World than Miss Universe.
Yeah.
And Miss Universe is, the global brand. And I think that if Spain has a Miss Universe soon, I think the brands and sponsors will start to be interested again in Miss Spain, Miss Universe Spain.
That's great. And talking about the previous organization, as it was bankrupt in 2011, Miss España. So BMIS took over. Fans around the world don't know much about this organization. They don't even know who is the national director. Who is in charge of the Miss Spain organization right now, and what are their concepts? What are their goals? Like.
Okay, the national director right now is Guillermo Escobar. He's the president of BMIS, and there is a whole team around him, of hairdressers.
Guillermo is Spanish, right?
He's from Spain,
okay.
Yeah, he's Spanish.
Yeah, because it seems I went to the Facebook fan page and I saw a woman there, so I'm not really sure. So it's Guillermo Escobar.
Guillermo Escobar is the national director. We have a lot of pictures taken together, so if you want, I can show it to you later, so you can get to know him. But he has been in Miss Universe every year since 2013. Well, no, he couldn't go to Moscow with Patricia, but since Desiree, he has been going to Miss Universe, and his goals, are to promote the brand, try to get sponsors, try to get the brand on television, but above all to give a name to the product, take care of the product and not letting it to anything on television, because that in Spain we have, for example, this kind of realities, TV shows, and he doesn't want that for the brand, because once you get inside that, you can get out.
Okay, now let's get more in hot and political topics. That's hot right now in Spain.
Yeah, it's a topic right now.
Okay. Here we go. So, as Miss Spain, are you for or against the independence of Catalunya?
I'm totally against the independence in Catalunya. I believe in my country, I believe in union, I believe in dialogue, and I believe in politics. I believe that we can get more united than separated.
Great. And there was some shocking and horrible things that was making the global headlines. Our Guardia Civil were brutally attacking people, were kicking people, were pulling. I saw somebody pulling a woman, dragging her down the stairs, and there were some old women who was bleeding. Some shocking stuff that we saw. Do you see those acts that Guardia Civil committed were justified?
I think violence is never justified, but I don't like to see this kind of. I don't trust wholly what media says, because media shows what they want you to see and what they want you to
but
think.
it was like clips that was scattering all over Twitter and on all social media. Yeah, perhaps some were made up, but there were some that was
no, I don't think they were made up, but you know, you need to get into the whole situation.
Yeah.
Of course, violence is not the way, so I don't justify violence.
Okay, so let's move to the next question. Nowadays, holding a flag of Spain is equal of being a fascist, and so what do you say to these people, even to our own Spanish people here? Holding a flag of Spain, they call us facha, and what do you have to say to people of Spain and other people who think as such?
Actually, I'm really glad that you asked me this question, because I participated Saturday in this kind of march for the Union of Spain, and there were a lot of Spanish flag. I was even
You were
wearing
in Plaza de
dress.
Colón, ¿verdad?
In Plaza de Colón, yes. I was even wearing this dress with the Spanish flag, and I wasn't, I mean, wearing the Spanish flag is not about ideology, it's not about politics, it's about feelings, it's about honor. If you go to America, to the United States or France, and you see everyone with a flag, it's not about I belong to this political party or I think this way. I think it's a way of honor to the country.
I think the thing that annoys people in the flag is the monarchy symbol. Concerning this, the left-wing party Podemos in the recent election won more than 5 million people's vote. Though they're not majority, it's quite an amount. Many times and very often in Puerta del Sol we see manifestation of the Republican flag, and many people want a republic. You personally, as Miss Spain, are you for a Spain under a monarchy, or are you for a republican system?
As Sofia del Prado, I am for a monarchy.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
and can you elaborate us why? Or
yeah, I think that there would...
with all due respect to Our Majesty the King, who perhaps is listening, they say Our Majesty receives lump sum of amount for public function, and that's why the left-wing people do not agree about this, and they say that it's not fair, so that's why they want a republic system. What do you have to say to these people?
I think that that everything takes a cost, and having a republic carries cost as well. What annoys these people, I think, is not the cost of the monarchy. Is that the monarchs or the king or the queen are not elected. They complain about a way of democracy because they are put there. They are the king and queen because of their blood. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think that regarding economically, cost would be the same, republic or monarchy. But what they don't like is that they are not chosen directly by the people.
Okay. So coming to the next question. Catalunya, I think, is the worst year for Catalunya this year. We also know, I mean, the terrorism thing that happened.
Uh-huh.
So what do you think can be done to avoid or to prevent terrorism, which is a grave problem in entire Europe and the Western world right now? What do you think can be done to protect our citizens here in Spain? Or, I mean, what's your advice, or do you have any idea to propose about this?
Actually, it's very interesting that you asked me this question because I study international relations, like I told you before, and one of the subjects that I was really interested about was international terrorism. I had as a teacher an expert in international terrorism who has worked in a lot of American universities. The problem is not something that you can do right now. Well, you can do it right now, but it takes a lot of time. I think one of the things that you could do, or the government could do, in order to prevent this is begins from education and in schools. You know, most of these terrorists are feel discriminated somehow. Mm-hmm. And I think that we need to focus on stop radicalization. And once we focus on one of the things that we can do to stop radicalization, it starts from education.
Okay, great. Angela Merkel has widely opened the gates of Europe to a wild numbers of refugees. With no screening whatsoever, we've been hearing many terrorism attacks around Europe, and rape has soared in Sweden. There have been thousands of women who has been groped in Germany, in Cologne. And our mayor of Madrid, Manuela Carmena, equally thinks the same. While Pepe and Donald Trump, who is on the other side, thinks the otherwise. On which side would you say are you? Do you think should we open our gates to refugees, or should we screen them, or are you okay with how things are going on right now?
I think things could go better. I think Spain and Europe could do more for refugees because Angela Merkel has opened the doors for refugees in Europe, but with quotas. And there's a lot of people dying in the Mediterranean, and there's a lot of countries pushing refugees back. And I think that they have the same human rights that we have, that they are not looking for running away from their country. They are in trouble. They're looking for a refuge, for a shelter.
I do agree there are many genuine refugees coming from Syria who are attacked, who are being attacked, bombed.
Yeah,
this is very understandable.
Yeah.
But as there are many countries who are not having these types of problems, they are tagged as economic migrants by mainstream media. So what about them? Do you think is it fine they come here? And most of the rape and sexual assaults that happened in Germany were people of these countries that had nothing to do with war, and they were just economic migrants. Do you think they should be equally allowed to enter here in Europe?
I think we don't have to make this kind of acts general. I don't think we don't have to take radical actions. I think those are isolated, sadly isolated events, and I don't think we have to judge all of them for the acts of 1, 2, or 3. I don't believe in that.
Okay, great. And okay, this one is quite a harder question. Foreigners think that the Corrida y Toros de la Vega is the shame of Europe. They qualified it as cruel, barbaric, under the excuse of culture, arts, tradition. Do you, as Miss Spain, condone this culture, or do you think should it be stopped and be illegal?
I think it's all a question of tolerance. I mean, there's people who like it, there's people who don't. I can't support one side, but I think I'm not for prohibitions. But you know, if there's animals or people suffering, it's complicated. It's very complicated and controversial issue. And
yeah, because recently we saw like vegan animal activists who were there and they were defending. Can you personally become a vegan?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I like meat a lot.
Okay, great. So let's conclude. Now just some 3 final questions on beauty pageants in general, and this question will go throughout the world. And it might also, here we go. Here's the question. Beauty pageants on the other side of the world, and I wouldn't mention which country exactly, but there are a lot of them, view beauty pageants as immoral, denigrating, objectifying women, lustful and sinful. And they also relate it directly to pornography and prostitution. What do you have to say to these people? Do you have any message to them for them?
Yeah, I would say that maybe if they were interested in beauty pageants and they were following beauty pageants, they would see that it's not what they're saying. We want to be there and we can change the world. We can raise a voice. We can do a lot of charity things and events. and it's not. And being a beauty queen is more than being beautiful inside and being always perfect. It's a really hard work, and you get the chance to get to so many people, to so many parts of the world to make a change. So I invite them to follow the beauty pageants, to get to know us better, and then they can judge.
Great. And Madrid is known as the gay capital of Europe, has the best gay pride in July, known as Orgullo Gay. However, there was a religious group called Atheoir who came with the buses spreading homophobic messages, and Spain has always been a Christian country since centuries, and homosexuality viewed as a sinful act, as we all know in the Bible. So do you think the modern society has got corrupted in some sense, or has gone down in decadence? Or, I mean, do you think it's fine as things are going on right now, or do you think the modern or Western society has gone in a sense of decadence in some way?
No, I think we are going forward. I think we are now tolerating the love of people. Spain was one of the first countries to legalize gay marriage, and I'm really proud of it because it's love. Who are we people to judge the love between two adults who love each other? I don't think it's a question. It's something that concerns us as humans. I think everyone has their business, and let everyone love each other.
Okay, and two final questions. So the last Miss Spain who won Miss Universe was Amparo Muñoz in 1974. 74. So do you think you're able to bring us back the crown after all these decades?
Oh my god, right now I got excited. Yeah, I'm emotional. I think I can do a great role in Miss Universe, and I think I can get really close to the crown. I think I fulfill kind of the qualities that Miss Universe is now looking for, IMG, with the Miss Confidently Beautiful thing, and I think I can fight for it. I'm doing my best, and I'm really happy because it's a dream of mine. It's a thing that I admire so much.
Not dream only of yours, but the entire Spain.
Yeah. So I think Spain has chances this year, and I will fight for it.
Thank you. And so, if you win Miss Universe, what change would you bring to the world, or how would you help others with your title?
I would love to work against bullying because
Berlin, sorry.
Bullying.
Bully. Oh yeah, we heard in your biography you were bullied when you were a child.
Yeah, when I was a child. I didn't have many friends, like I told you before, and
how come such a pretty person like you didn't have good friends? Like...
I didn't. I was alone always in breaks during school. I was alone, and they insulted me with, I was really tall for my age, and they were calling me giraffe, 4 meters, and when you're a kid.
Well, the giraffe is representing your country today.
Yeah, actually, that's true. But when you're a kid, you don't understand why they say that, and you think you're ugly. You think you believe what they say. But when you grow up, everything changes. You get mature, and you see. For example, in my case, I saw my age as an advantage, and I started to play basketball, which got me out of this situation.
I've always been in beauty pageant form, and I can tell you by experience, the miss who is bashed the most always wins.
Really? Okay, so let's hope that I get bashed.
No, but you don't have a lot of haters. Like, you're very lovely, you're very wonderful.
Thank you.
To be honest, some people, I saw them in the farm, like they preferred other miss, but when we saw your personality, your catwalk, your stage presence, it changed us completely. Like, we saw there, as you said, beauty is internal, and we saw the other side of the facet.
Yeah, I always try to be myself. I try to let the people know through my social media, through Instagram, for example.
Yeah, you're very down to with your fans. That's you're very humble. That's the thing which we appreciate about you.
Yeah, one of the things, you lose your humanity when you stop being humble. I think one of the, about well being a beauty queen, you need to be humble, you need to be close to people, because they need to know that you're not better than them. You are like them, and you want to make a change. So I want to show the world that I'm humble, that I'm me. I try to show myself in my Instagram as I am every day, and that's what I think.
This is what we really appreciate about you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's what I try
Welcome.
to.
Well, that was it. And do you have something to say about your fans, to all people who might be listening to you and watching this interview right now?
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much, because I read all the messages. I feel really bad because I would like to reply them all, but it's really difficult because I don't have time, but I read them all. They give me a lot of cheer, a lot of support, and a lot of energy to continue every day to fight for my dream. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me, and that you've been here. Thank you for taking your time and coming here, talking to me, and getting to know me a little bit better. So thank you. I'm really happy and honored.
You're welcome. So we wish you best of luck in Miss Universe and hope you bring us back the crown.
Thank
you very much, Miss Spain. It was Shaina Herrera of Missology reporting from Madrid.